news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Dan Schwartzman. The death toll in Myanmar from the 7.7 magnitude earthquake has passed 1,600, with over 3,400 people injured and 139 still missing, with extensive damage reported in the city of Mandalay. International rescue teams from China, India, and Russia have arrived to assist, while countries including the U.S. have pledged to send aid following the military junta's rare request for international help. In neighboring Thailand, rescuers are searching for dozens of people missing from a collapsed high-rise building in Bangkok, and authorities have declared the quake a level 3 disaster, with safety audits and temporary shelters set up in response. We're hearing Ukraine plans to ask for changes to President Trump's proposed sweeping new economic deal with the U.S. More details from Bloomberg's Denise Pellegrini.
A draft proposal of this deal, seen by Bloomberg News, would grant Washington control over all major future infrastructure and mineral investments in Ukraine, and with no time limit attached. But sources say Kyiv is concerned the deal may undermine its bid to join the European Union and require it to pay U.S. military and economic support provided since the start of Russia's war with Ukraine. Ukrainian officials, as a result, are seeking clarification and amendments to this deal with the U.S., and they want to pledge for more U.S. investment as part of a rework deal. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Elon Musk's XAI artificial intelligence startup has acquired the social network X platform in an all-stock deal for $33 billion. Musk posted on X that the combined values of the two companies, which will be known as XAI Holdings, will be $113 billion. XAI and X have been previously linked, with XAI using information from the social network to hone its chatbot. Musk has used X to promote Grok, a chatbot developed by XAI that is competing with other AI firms such as OpenAI, which Musk originally co-founded before splitting with the company. Musk has historically blended his various companies by sharing investors, technology, and even employees. As the federal government seeks to cut spending, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has signed a memorandum that aims to reduce the Department of Defense's civilian workforce. The DoD announced plans last month to fire between 5 and 8% of its civilian workforce, which currently numbers around 950,000 employees. Hegseth has called for the implementation of the Deferred Resignation Program and for offering voluntary early retirement to eligible civilian employees. Yale and Harvard have removed employees due to pressure from the Trump administration as the schools face having to combat anti-Semitism on their campuses. Harvard has forced 2 Middle Eastern Studies faculty members to leave their posts, while Yale has terminated a research scholar who would not cooperate with an investigation into alleged ties with a group that is subject to U.S. sanctions. The Trump administration has threatened to withhold funding from academic institutions that they deem have not done enough to combat rising campus anti-Semitism. Another near miss at Reagan National Airport in Washington, as a Delta flight was cleared for takeoff at the same time 4 U.S. Army T-38 Talon jets were inbound for a flight over Arlington National Cemetery. The commercial flight received an onboard alert of a nearby aircraft, while air traffic controllers issued corrective instructions to both aircrafts. The Delta Airbus A319 was carrying 131 passengers, with 2 pilots and 3 flight attendants. The incident comes just 2 months after a mid-air collision above the same airport involving an Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines passenger jet that killed 67 people. According to CBS News, staff members at the U.S. Institute of Peace were informed that their jobs were terminated on Friday. It was not clear yet whether the cuts affected all or part of the organization, which has about 300 employees. Last month, President Trump signed an order seeking to cut the Institute of Peace and several other entities to, quote, the minimum presence and function required by law. The Institute has consistently said it's not a government agency, but rather an independent nonprofit that receives government funding directly from Congress. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Dan Schwartzman, and this is Bloomberg.